Hi, this is Suzanne from Monster Tail by Tunes Design, the makers of Rainbow Loom. Today I'll be showing you how to make the Ogopogo Monster Bracelet. This is an 8-pin, 3-color reversible design. To make a standard 7-inch bracelet, you will need about 200 bands, or approximately 28 bands per inch. You'll also need a Monster Tail loom, a rainbow loom hook, and a C-clip. Choose your bands and pick out your color scheme. You will need about 80 A colored bands, 80 B colored bands, and 40 C colored bands. Try not to use stretched out or used rubber bands, as these will affect the look of the bracelet. In this video, I'll be using blue, red, and white. Organize your bands into 3 piles, A, B, and C, as I have done here. Pause the video here until you're ready to follow along. The first step in making this bracelet will be placing 2 A-colored starter bands. Place a band diagonally between these 2 pins for your first band. You'll place an A-colored band and then we're going to loop it on this outside pin, so use your hook, grab this outside band, pull it between these 2 pins, around, catching it on the lip, all the way around, and release. That's your first starter band. Then you'll place a diagonal band between these 2 pins. Again, that's an A-colored band. And with your hook, you'll grab the outside band, pull it between these 2 pins, wrap it around this pin, catching it on the lip, and releasing. Those are your 2 starter bands. Next, 5 bands will be placed on the loom. The first band will be placed between these 2 pins. That's your A-colored band. And you'll place another A-colored band between these 2 pins. Next, you'll place 2 B-colored bands. The first one will go between these 2 pins. Hold that down and stretch it. Slide it down on the pins, and then place the second B-colored band like that. Finally, place a C-colored band between these 3 pins. First, you'll place the band diagonally, and then you can use your fingernail or your hook, grab that band and stretch it to this pin so that it's almost a V shape. Slide your bands down on the pins and you're ready for the next step. After you've placed these bands, it's time to lift the initial starter bands up and over each pin. So on this end there was 1 starter band, and you'll lift that 1 A-colored band up and over. Then on this pin there was no starter band. This middle one there are 2, and we'll lift those up and over. There's not one here. On the end there's 1. We have to make sure we keep our bands in the right order so that we make sure we're lifting the right band. Hold that down and lift it over. Then on this pin we lift 1 A-colored band over, and that will leave you with an A and a B on that pin. This middle pin, there's no starter band, and on this pin it's just like this one. We'll lift 1 A-colored band over, and we'll be leaving these pins the same with an A and a B. Then reposition your loom and you're ready for the next step. Repeat placing the series of 5 bands once again. Place an A band on the end. It's twisted, so we're going to try to straighten that out. Lay it flat, an A band on the end, and then again we place an A band on this end between these 2 pins. Then we're going to place 2 B-colored bands, and then out that way. Push the bands down, and then we place a C-colored band around these 3 pins. Stretch your band, and then pull it over that 3rd pin. Push all your bands down, and you're ready to lift. Start at the end with your red dot. You'll grab the bottom band and pull that over. On this pin, you'll grab the bottom C-colored band, lift that over. On this one, there's 4 bands, 2 groups of 2. We'll lift the bottom 2 bands over. We can lift those one at a time. Actually, we'll leave you with a neater appearance, or you can lift 2 of them over at the same time. On this one, you'll lift 1 C-colored band over. On the end, lift an A-colored band over. And then on this side, you're going to lift the bottom 2 bands. That's an A and a B. On this pin, you'll lift 1 C-colored band over. And this one, see how they're all crooked? You want to make sure they're all in the right order so you can stick your hook down in there and kind of twirl it around. And then that realigns all your bands. Just like on this pin, you'll be lifting an A-colored band over and then a B. Reposition your loom and slide all the bands down on the pins. I'll show you placement of the bands one more time. On these outside pins, we'll place an A-colored band, and then on this side, then a B-colored band, and another B-colored band. Then we'll place a C-colored band around these 3 pins. And you can use your hook to pull that over the 3rd pin and slide these down. 5 of the pins will have 2 bands on them, and then your end ones, and 3 pins will have 4 bands. What you'll be doing is lifting half the bands on each pin. So on this last one where there's 2 bands, you'll just be lifting 1 A band over. On this one where you have 2 C bands, you'll be lifting 1 C over. This one, you have 4 B-colored bands. You'll lift 2 of those over. This one where you have 2 C-colored bands, you'll lift 1 over. On the end, you'll lift 1 of the A-colored bands over. And then on this pin, you have 2 groups of A and B bands. You'll lift an A over, and then a B over. And the reason we do these one at a time is that they'll lay neatly in order and make your bracelet look neater. On this pin, there's 2 C-colored bands. You'll lift 1 of those. Then again on this last one, you'll lift an A and then a B. Reposition your loom and push all your bands down. Repeat placing and looping the layers of the bracelet until the desired length of the bracelet is reached. One way to find the correct length of the bracelet is to wrap it around your wrist like this, bring it around so that the end of the pins touch it. You may want to pause the video here until you're ready to finish your bracelet. When you have found a place to stop, you will need to follow a few steps to finish your bracelet. You'll place the series of 5 bands, but you'll use different colors. You'll finish with an A band on the outside, And again, place an A band on this side. You'll place the middle bands as B colored bands. And then instead of placing this last band as a C colored band, you'll place it as an A colored band. Now once again, we'll lift half the bands on each pin. On this last one, there's 2 A colored bands. We'll lift one of those over. On this pin, there's an A and a C. We'll lift the bottom C band over. On this pin, we have 4 B colored bands. We'll lift 2 of those over. There's 2 bands on this pin. We'll lift the bottom C band over. On this end, 2A, we'll lift one of those over. Then on this pin, we'll have 4. We lift an A and then a B. Then we lift the bottom C band. And on this one, we lift an A and a B. Reposition our loom, push all the bands down, and we're ready for the next step. Now the band that was placed around these 3 pins, we're going to lift those so that this one on this pin comes across to this side, and these 2 will come across to that side. You want to always position your hook so that the hook is pointing outward so that it won't slip off your hook when you're moving this. So you're going to lift this one and pull it over that pin. Then when you grab these 2, same thing, your hook will be positioned outward like that. That gives you control and it will not slip off when you're moving it. So you're moving that band across, and you'll do the same with this one. Hold your hook outward and bring it over to this pin. Now we're going to place 2 A colored bands just as we did at the beginning of the bracelet. I'll stretch an A colored band and then grab this side, wrap it around that outside one, and then slide that down. And then you'll place another A colored band, grab it on the outside, pull it between, and wrap it over, and then push those down. Now lift all the bands on each pin up and over, leaving just 1 band on each of the pins. We've left 1 band. This one we have 2, so we'll just lift 1 over. And this one we will lift all the bands in order till there's just the 1. And then on this side as well, we'll lift all the bands over until there's just 1, and then pull those down. Now we're going to pull all of these bands to this center pin. Hold your hook so that it's away from you and you've got control of that band. You're going to lift that over this one. Then we'll pull this band over to the middle pin. And this one we'll pull to the middle pin. Oops, this one I didn't bring them all over. There should be 1 band left as we bring it over. Hold that one outward, bring it around, and same on this last one. And then we have a series of bands on this pin. Grab 2 of the bottom ones and lift them up and over so that you'll have 4 bands on this pin. You can attach your C-clip by sliding it over those bands, making sure that the C-clip has captured all the bands securely. Then you can lift it off the loom. Then on the other end of your bracelet, use your hook to get those bands. Slide it around your finger and you can attach the other end of your C-clip on these bands. You snap that over, remove your hook, and there you have your finished Ogopogo Monster bracelet. This is how it looks on one side, and then you can turn it over to the reverse.